Welcome back to my channel, Simplified English 101. If you are new to this channel, please remember, like this video, leave a comment. Do not forget to subscribe to my channel and ring that good old notification bell so that you can be informed when a new video is posted. In today's lesson, I will be discussing how to select your source for your English Language SBA. That is, how to decide what sources to use, what artifacts to use for your English Language SBA. For more information on everything SBA, please remember to get a copy of the book English Language and Literature SBA Guide for Students. This is the most updated SBA book that can help you with your English Language SBA. This can be found on all Amazon platforms. You can reach out to me or leave a comment under this video. Let us move on into selecting our source. Of course, there are objectives that you are expected to guide you throughout the lesson. One, we will be discussing what are sources. We are going to be looking at the differences between primary and secondary sources. We're also going to be giving examples of these primary and secondary sources, as well as selecting the appropriate sources for your research. Let us continue. The question is, what are sources? For us to be able to select our sources or different artifacts for English Language SBA, we must understand what sources are. Now, a source is a material from which the writer gathers information and ideas to support their research topic, whatever their topic might be. For the English Language SBA, you're expected to select appropriate sources to aid in the completion of your SBA. You are going to be doing a secondary research. In that, you're going to be using information that is already existing to do your research. So under no circumstances should you write your own article or go and take your own pictures, or should you create your own song or make your own video. No, you are going to be doing a secondary research using information that already exists. In doing your secondary research, you are allowed to use both primary and secondary sources. A primary source is any source that gives you direct access to the subject of the research, while a secondary source is second-hand information and our commentary on these researchers. Primary research is more credible and reliable as a piece of evidence that can be used in your SBA, although both types of sources can be used. Let us look at some factors to consider when selecting our sources. When you're selecting your source for your research, you need to find a source that is reliable. This means that you're looking for information that has been produced that is credible, trustworthy, and objective. When you use a reliable source, it strengthens your argument, it strengthens your voice, it strengthens the information presented. So your sources should be reliable. In selecting reliable sources, you need to think about the purpose of the piece created. So always consider the purpose of the information. Is it to persuade you? Is it to inform? Or is it to entertain? And if you want more information on this topic, you can check out my previous video on the author's purpose, intent, and audience. Now, as CXC students doing your SBA, you can ask yourself, why was this piece created? Was this piece created to convince me? Was this piece created to give me more information and knowledge? Or was this piece created as a means of entertainment? This is going to show that you have considered your intended audience. This is going to show that the information that you're gathering, that you have considered your author's viewpoint, among many other things. So the purpose is important in selecting your sources. In selecting your sources, you also need to think about the age of the source. For example, if you're doing a topic on crime and violence in Jamaica in today's society, you cannot use pieces that have been done 20 years ago, 15 years ago, 10 years ago. You're thinking about crime today, in today's society. And so you'd want to find pieces that have been published last year, last week, 2 months ago, things that are relevant. So you want to ask yourself, how old is the source? Has the information changed since it was last created or published. Now, in thinking about this, it will help you to determine if the information produced is still relevant and is applicable to your research. So remember, relevance is also important in selecting your source. So we looked at purpose, we looked at relevance. Let us now look at validity. Consider who the author is. Think about the different biases that the author might have and how closely they are to the topic. This will help you in determining the validity of the information produced. So again, validity is important. Finally, you want to think about the author's credibility. Ask yourself, is this person qualified to speak on the matter? Does the author have the experience or the knowledge on the topic? And by doing so, you're ensuring that the piece is credible. We have looked at the purpose, the relevance, the validity, and the credibility. When you are selecting your sources, remember these things. There are other things that you can think about when selecting your sources, but these are just 4 of the important ones for your English Language SBA. Remember, more than anything else, it is always important to list your sources and give credit to your sources. Remember that this is a secondary research, so any information that you use is coming from somewhere, and not giving evidence to such means that you are plagiarizing or stealing someone's work. No, these are examples of primary and secondary sources, and I'm going to give you some time just to read through them. Now that you've examined the difference between the primary sources and the secondary sources, you can now start thinking about the pieces that you're going to be using. What pieces might you find? These are some of the pieces that you will find out there when you're doing your research for either primary or secondary sources, based on the fact that we've already looked at the difference between the 2 pieces or the 2 sources and how to actually find and use them. Let us now look at how I will use one for my sample SBA. Now, the sample SBA that I have been doing is the impact of corruption within the Jamaican educational system. And if you missed my video on that, where I looked at how to write your themes and individual sub-themes, and also how to do your plan of investigation, I will leave a link in the description box for you. So the sub-theme is the impact of corruption within the Jamaican educational system. And when I'm thinking about the different pieces that I want to use or my sources, the first thing I thought about was, okay, corruption, Jamaica, education. And these are 3 big things for me. And so I decided that, okay, I wanted to use something that was credible. I wanted to use a piece that had a particular purpose, and I wanted to use a piece that was relevant to today. And so I thought about my purpose, why I want to find a piece that has a particular purpose. I don't want to entertain my readers. I don't want to persuade them. I want to basically give them information that shows them that this is how corruption is in the Jamaican educational system, and it does exist. So I thought about my purpose, and I wanted my purpose to be an informative piece. I also thought about the credibility. I thought about who the author is, who I want my author to be. I want my author to be someone who has experience and knowledge. And in thinking about that, I thought about a researched piece or a letter or some kind of document that is factual with statistics and all of that good information. Then I thought about the relevance. I want my piece to be current. I wanted to show that, listen, in the past 10 years or 5 years, corruption in the Jamaican educational system has gotten worse. When I thought about the artifacts that I wanted to use or the different sources, I thought about a newspaper, which is a must. You must use a published newspaper article. I thought about finding a video or any sort of research that would basically show, corruption in the Jamaican educational system and its impact. And I also thought about like an interview, like someone giving an interview about corruption, their own experiences with it. And I thought about someone who would be credible. So when you're doing your own research and searching for your artifacts, think about these things. Think about the purpose. Think about the credibility, think about the relevance, think about the validity, think about these things. Now, that is all for today's video. Please remember to like this video, make a comment, subscribe to my channel, and do not forget to ring that good old notification bell so that you can be informed once a new video is posted. Until then, bye.